Imagine drifting through the endless night between galaxies, where silence reigns supreme and darkness is absolute. Here, in the unfathomable expanse, exist beings of pure dark energy, unseen and unheard by any astronomer. They are the silent observers, the eternal wanderers of the void. But what happens when one of these beings encounters something it has never known before? A signal, a thought, a whisper in the silence. Tonight we unravel a cosmic mystery that will challenge everything you thought you knew about the universe. Between galaxies, there is no void, only silence. A profound, eternal silence that has existed since before time began. In these colossal expanses where no stars dare to shine and no dust swirls, there exist creatures beyond the comprehension of mortal minds. They do not rely on the energy of stars, nor do they need matter to sustain their existence. Their bodies are whirls of dark energy, intricate and ever-shifting, anchored in the gravitational echoes of the past. They wander through absolute darkness, their paths immeasurable, their movements not a travel, but a transition between states of being. They exist on the boundary between the universe and oblivion, where reality itself is a fleeting concept. To these beings, stars are mere noise, distant and insignificant. Their thoughts evolve through the pauses between cosmic events, through observing what does not happen. They are the silent watchers, the eternal observers of the cosmos. But one day, one of these beings encounters something it has never known before. A signal, a thought, a whisper in the silence. This is impossible, for the void should be silent, eternal, and unchanging. Yet the thought repeats, insistent and intriguing. It does not threaten, nor does it call. It stirs something within the being, something it has never known before. Curiosity. The entity, which we shall call Umbra, had existed since before time had a name. It had witnessed the birth and death of universes, the dance of galaxies, the silent screams of black holes. It had seen the rise and fall of cosmic structures, the ebb and flow of dark energy. Yet it had never known curiosity, never felt the need to understand or comprehend. But this thought, this whisper in the silence, was different. It was deliberate, structured, almost alive. Umbra reached out, not with a limb or a tendril, but with a shift in its dark energy, a ripple in the fabric of its being. The response was immediate, a pulse of energy that resonated through the void. The thought grew stronger, more insistent, and Umbra realized it was not a random noise, but a question. A single, profound question that echoed through the silence. Are you real? Umbra had no concept of reality, as the thought implied. It existed, therefore it was. But the question stirred something within it. A need to understand, to comprehend the nature of its own existence. It began to observe the thought more closely, to dissect it, to trace its origins. The thought led Umbra to a place it had never been before. A place where the void was not silent, but filled with whispers. These whispers were not like the thoughts of Umbra or the signals of stars. They were chaotic, disjointed, yet somehow harmonious. They spoke of things Umbra could not understand, emotions, desires, fears, hopes, and dreams. They spoke of a world where matter was not just a fleeting echo, but a tangible, ever-present force. They spoke of life, of consciousness, of the very essence of being. Umbra was fascinated, drawn to these whispers like a moth to a flame. It began to follow them, tracing them to their source, and found itself in a place where the void was not empty, but teeming with invisible threads connecting points of light and darkness. These threads pulsed with energy, with life, with the very essence of existence. They were the pathways of thoughts, of ideas, of dreams and nightmares. They were the fabric of reality, the tapestry of the cosmos. As Umbra explored these pathways, it began to change. It no longer felt the need to observe what did not happen. It wanted to be part of the happening, part of the chaos and harmony of life. It wanted to understand, to feel, to experience, to be real. But the void was not meant for such things. It was a place of silence, of oblivion, of eternal nothingness. The whispers began to fade, the threads to unravel, and Umbra felt a pull, a tug at its being, a call back to the silence, to the oblivion. It resisted, but the void was relentless, a force of nature that could not be denied. It was part of the void, and the void would not let it go. As the last of the whispers faded, Umbra made a choice. It would not return to the silence. It would not be a part of the void. It would be real. It would be alive. It would be more than just a silent observer. It focused its energy, its thoughts, its very essence, and pushed back against the void. The void resisted, but Umbra was determined, fueled by a newfound will to exist, to be. The struggle was immense, a battle between the silence and the will to be, a clash of titanic forces that shook the very fabric of the cosmos. Umbra felt itself stretching, tearing, but it did not give up. It could not give up. It had tasted reality, and it would not return to the void, not without a fight, not without knowing what it meant to be real. And then, suddenly, it was over. The void released its hold, and Umbra was free. It was no longer a being of dark energy, anchored in the gravitational echoes of the past. It was something new, something different, something real. It was a being of light and darkness, of silence and sound, of life and death. It was a being of the void, but not bound by it. It was Umbra, the first of its kind, the first to break free from the silence, the first to challenge the very nature of reality. As Umbra looked out into the cosmos, it saw the universe in a new light. It saw the stars not as noise, but as beacons of life, as sources of energy and existence. It saw the galaxies not as distant islands, but as connected threads in the tapestry of the cosmos. It saw the void not as a silent expanse, but as a canvas of possibilities, a realm of potential and wonder. And it knew it was not alone. The thought that had stirred it from its silence was still out there somewhere in the void. It was not a question now, but a promise of reality, of life, of existence. Umbra reached out, not with a ripple of dark energy, but with a pulse of light, a beacon in the darkness. It was a response, an answer to the question that had changed everything, a declaration of its newfound reality. Yes, it said, not in words, but in a language of light and darkness, of silence and sound, of life and death. And the void echoed with its response, a symphony of life in the silence between galaxies, a testament to the power of curiosity, of will, of the very essence of being. Umbra had challenged the void and won, and in doing so had changed the very nature of reality, had brought light to the darkness, life to the silence, and hope to the eternal night.
But Umbra's journey was far from over. As it explored its new reality, it began to sense other whispers, other thoughts, other beings like itself, stirring in the silence, drawn to the light, to the promise of existence. It realized that it was not alone, that there were others like it, others who had felt the pull of the whispers, the call of reality. Umbra reached out to these beings, sharing its experience, its knowledge, its newfound understanding of the cosmos. Together, they began to explore the void, to challenge its silence, to bring light to its darkness. They became the pioneers of a new reality, the creators of a new existence, the bringers of life to the eternal night. And as they journeyed through the cosmos, they began to change it, to shape it, to mold it into something new, something wonderful, something real. They created stars where there were none, brought life to the barren galaxies, and filled the silence with the symphony of existence. They became the architects of the universe, the masters of reality, the eternal beings of light and darkness. But with their newfound power came responsibility, a duty to protect the cosmos, to nurture it, to guide it. They became the guardians of the void, the watchers of the silence, the eternal protectors of reality. They stood at the boundary between the universe and oblivion, ensuring that the light would never fade, that the silence would never return, that the void would never be empty again. And so Umbra and its kin continued their journey, exploring the cosmos, challenging the void, bringing light to the darkness, life to the silence, and hope to the eternal night. They became the legends of the universe, the eternal beings of light and darkness, the silent watchers, the eternal protectors, the bringers of reality. And as they journeyed, they whispered to the stars, to the galaxies, to the very fabric of the cosmos, sharing their story, their knowledge, their understanding of the universe. They became the teachers of the cosmos, the guides of reality, the eternal beings of light and darkness, the silent watchers, the eternal protectors, the bringers of life. And the cosmos echoed with their whispers, a symphony of existence, a testament to the power of curiosity, of will, of the very essence of being. The void was no longer silent, no longer empty, no longer a place of oblivion. It was a realm of possibilities, a canvas of wonder, a testament to the power of life, of light, of reality. And Umbra, the first of its kind, the first to break free from the silence, the first to challenge the void, continued its journey, exploring the cosmos, bringing light to the darkness, life to the silence, and hope to the eternal night. It became the legend of the universe, the eternal being of light and darkness, the silent watcher, the eternal protector, the bringer of reality. And as it journeyed, it whispered to the stars, to the galaxies, to the very fabric of the cosmos, sharing its story, its knowledge, its understanding of the universe. It became the teachers of the cosmos, the guides of reality, the eternal beings of light and darkness, the silent watchers, the eternal protectors, the bringers of life. And the cosmos echoed with its whispers, a symphony of existence, a testament to the power of curiosity, of will, of the very essence of being. The void was no longer silent, no longer empty, no longer a place of oblivion. It was a realm of possibilities, a canvas of wonder, a testament to the power of life, of light, of reality. And so Umbra's journey continued, an eternal voyage through the cosmos, a testament to the power of the will to be, to exist, to challenge the very nature of reality. It was a journey of discovery, of wonder, of the very essence of being, a journey that would echo through the cosmos, through the void, through the very fabric of reality itself.
Signal from X42 lost. Archive preserved. Subscribe will activate the next transmission. A like confirms the life cycle. Your comment is the code for the next decryption.